Namo Vaha. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm in a very sacred space, it feels like. Today will be a special live stream for not just being in such a sacred space, but it's for the people that come with it too. For if they feel comfortable, we have some special guests joining our live stream today, and it is these wonderful people that have invited me here to share this space, to perform the live from. And they are Sanghis themselves, people that have been with this community for a while now. So they're eating right now. They're hanging out in the background somewhere, letting me live stream in this wonderful space that they get to have at this moment. And later on, they'll come by, hopefully, and we'll have a lovely time together. So, welcome. I invite everyone, regardless of their background, identity, orientation. Hello, Daffy. Welcome, Rhiannon. I am feeling orange today. Hello, Assad. It's a lovely day today. V, Mrs. Lady, hello to you. Welcome one, welcome all. I'd love to invite the people who are just here right now, our first guests, to share how they're feeling. And also to get a mic check. Hopefully my microphone is connected and you can hear me all right. You let me know. And thank you for asking, V, Mrs. Lady. How am I feeling? Very peaceful, very inspired today. Feeling grateful for life, feeling warm. It is a warm day. I think that's true for places right now in the Northern Hemisphere. I love the feeling of summer. The air here is really nice to breathe. I'm surrounded by such beautiful plants. My senses are very happy right now. My body is at peace. Whatever peace I feel here, I wish to share that with you all. So, Marcy's Makerspace, you're also feeling relieved and relaxed. Oh, good. Hello, dear Grace. You feel great from Ireland. Oh, how lovely. Judamps, you're feeling optimistic. That's lovely. I'm grateful to hear that. And that sound is good. Oh, thank you, my wonderful G. You are nearby too. You're hanging out just over there. I see you. Hello. Nice to see you again, dear Victoria. So let's begin with a little bit of an invocation. This is a Shanti mantra, a peace prayer, very simple. Asatoma sat gamaya, tamasoma jyotir gamaya, mrityur ma mritang gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. It means lead us from what has yet to become real to the real, from darkness to the light, from what has yet to be eternal to eternity. May there be peace in us, may there be peace in our environment, and may there be peace in the forces that act on us. And welcome, someone with a beautiful username. Slavka? Is that what it says? You're new here. Welcome. Welcome all. I think I might have accidentally invited someone with my thumb while scrolling. Ah, there she is. What are we doing here? We are hanging out, first of all. Just a chill space. This is a Sangha, ancient Sanskrit word referring to a gathering. And how we gather is dependent on the people that come here today, you know? Whatever you want to explore. The themes are spiritual ideas, wellness, taking care of our body and mind, finding happiness, sharing our experiences, exploring what might challenge us right now, and connecting us with ancient ancestral ways in a new and modern fashion. So if that sort of thing entices you, then I welcome you. May the space be relaxing, may it be peaceful, and may it be loving. Hello, Everest Owl. Alright, G had pinned a comment. Atta girl, you had asked, how can you practice not getting riled up when someone criticizes or tries to shame you? That's a beautiful question. And you ask it on a very poignant day. Today in the lunar calendar, if you look at the moon is in its first quarter. That means it's been about 8 lunar days since, or 8 or 9 lunar days since the new moon. And the 9th lunar day, which is today, is Navami in Sanskrit. And each lunar day is dedicated to a particular form of the divine. Today's divine association is Durga, the Divine Mother in her fierce form, in her form of expressing herself. So I say to you, in inspiration of Durga today, that if someone tries to shut you down in some way, then make sure you open back up. Make sure that you express yourself. Your voice deserves to be heard. And sometimes that can be expressed through silence too. When we say speak up for ourselves, sometimes letting our silence speak is very powerful too, right? Because silence says a lot in certain situations. Almost as much as sharing in audible words too. So knowing when to step away too can be a very powerful statement. In general, letting that power in you come out in those moments. We have to take it with some kind of humility, of course, right? Like if someone is genuinely concerned and they're relaying something to help us, then we listen. How it's conveyed, though, that tells us what the intention is. Is it conveyed in a loving way? Do we know this person? Do we know that they are struggling with something and they could be projecting it on us? In that case, all these factors to consider. The intention, I'm sure that you can intuit. And if it affects you in a way that you know your worth, you know your value, then you absolutely express yourself, stand up for yourself. That's what Durga represents. She is riding on a lion or a tiger. Traditions vary on which big cat she's riding on. She's riding into battle with all these weapons. And she's here not to slay her enemy, but to cut down the forces in them that are holding them back from being the person they need to be. So today in the lunar calendar, it represents cutting away the ignorance of the people that try to cut you down. I hope you feel empowered in that way. And remember, another person's judgment of you is their own judgment of themselves being reflected in you. So you represent a part of them that needs to heal. You put in that work of healing, it shows for them. Jainam, you're wondering how to do this pose. I assume you're talking about lotus posture. Got my feet up. I think we all have natural proclivities for various asanas. I feel like my legs have always been a little bendy. I was always bending my legs in funny ways as a kid, so this comes a little naturally to me. However, as with anything, practice. Do a little bit at a time, start with one leg up and see how far you can get that leg up. And then when it starts to feel numb or you lose sensation or it hurts, that you place it back down. And then every day, if you make it a part of your morning routine, for example, that you try to meditate in this way, it's very powerful, all these different positions that we can meditate, different ways of aligning ourselves, having ourselves feel supported yet comfortable. And you say you always fail. You're always practicing. You're always improving. Depends the way you look at it. When we come into contact with our limitations and we need to step away, then that means we're listening to ourselves, yet we're slowly pushing ourselves further. Alright, my phone is getting nice and toasty. I think I may have to put my phone in the shade as for us to continue live streaming. I want to keep my phone cool, otherwise it's going to shut down. Here. Yeah? There's so many beautiful spots. It's difficult to choose. Oh. This is a good spot. I like this too. That works. Okay. I'm just going to get my water bottle too. Now it looks like I'm in the middle of nature, which I am in a way. Okay. Hello, dear Vicky. Yeah, such a lovely garden we're in at the moment. Bone Heart Mystics, you share that you're feeling challenged by rampant fascism in your state. I feel you. I understand. I want to tell you something. I'm not sure how your heart's going to receive it, but I want you to be open to it. No matter what's happening around you, never let that into your heart. Let your heart open up to the world, but don't let it open into your heart. Does that make sense? I might have put that in a confusing way. The world around could be ruled by fascists, but is your heart going to be ruled by that? Will you let the heart change? Never let the heart change. Always let the heart be ruled not through overcoming another, but through submitting to the power of love. Inwardly be governed by the principle that you wish the outside world was governed by. Then, in any arrangement of life around you, you become the inspiration for change. Rather than let the suffering of the world pour into your heart, let the peace and love of your heart pour into the world. Don't let it backflow into your heart, is what I'm saying. Make sure the direction of energy transfer from your heart is always outward. Never let it back up into your heart. As much as it tries to push into you from all sides around you, it feels like it gets into you, right? Push that energy back out. Radiate out what you want in the world. Let yourself have this internal spiritual pressure to counterbalance the forces around you. Dear green-eyed feline, thank you for the trio of your awesomes, my friend. Om Gang Ganapataye Namaha. Dear Amma, thank you for your quartet of roses. Om Baim Saraswatiye Namaha. Welcome, Lone Wolf, and thank you for your rose. Radhe Radhe. And green-eyed feline, thank you for the claps. Do it. 10 of them. Here. I think I brought my jingler today. That which jingles. Here. Here's some jingles for you. Thank you, green-eyed feline. You also sent a heart me. Dear Slavka, I remember your name, right? Yes, Slavka. You ask, am I Buddhist? We can identify outwardly with any tradition that calls to our heart. You may be Buddhist, you may be Hindu, You may be Christian, you may be Muslim, you may be Taoist, you may be an atheist, you may be anything in between and beyond. What matters most is that we never let our identity get in the way of including others in higher beliefs that go beyond whatever particular practice that we may be in. If your practice is Christianity, then we may believe in the love and the light and the truth of Jesus Christ. Yet, we should see the love and the light and the truth in everything, not just Jesus Christ. Or, alternatively, as a way of phrasing that, we should learn to see Jesus Christ in everything, including Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam. And if you are a Buddhist and you believe in the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path and the Dharma, the Sangha, and the Buddha, the triple gem of Buddhism, then we should learn to find the Dharma in everything, find the Buddha in everything, find Sangha in everything. That is to say, whatever our path is, let us be inclusive to all traditions all at once. And it is from such a place that I wish to hold space for this live stream today, for example. So am I Buddhist? I'm just as much of a Buddhist as I am a Christian, just as much of a Christian as I am a Muslim, just as much of a Muslim as I am a Jew, just as much of a Jew as I am a Taoist, just as much of a Taoist as I am an atheist. All belief systems are one if we can look hard enough. Dear PXXSA, Yusha, you don't think you could withstand 10 minutes of meditation? Hey, can you look at it the other way around? Can meditation withstand 10 minutes of you? Which direction is the energy flowing? Are you being challenged by something? Or are you showing up to challenge the things that used to limit you? Can all the things that used to limit you withstand 10 minutes of your meditation? That's the challenge you give it. Mirek, you ask a very interesting yet actually important question. When doing yoga, where should the tongue be? To others, this might sound like a silly question. To anyone who follows the path of yoga, even really specific questions like these have answers. And of course, it depends on which yogic practice you're doing at that moment. Because there's a yoga for everything, right? If you are doing yoga of conscious eating, then your tongue should be on the food. Enjoying all the flavors, paying attention to the astringency, the sourness, the sweetness, the bitterness. The tongue should be 100% concentrated on the food. This is the yoga of food. The yoga of understanding that food is an offering to the temple of the body. Verily, the temple is made up of food. Now, if we are doing something like a nivritti meditation, where we are just imagining stillness of thought, doing dhyana yoga, meditative contemplation, bringing awareness to one point, then it is generally said the tongue should relax from the roof of the mouth. So no mewing. Just as one drops the shoulders back, releases tension in the abdomen, unclenches the jaw, also so should the tongue be released from the roof of the mouth. If, however, for example, we are doing more advanced yogic practices, then the tongue takes different positions. For example, there's an advanced meditative practice called Kechari Mudra, which is where the tongue actually doesn't just go up to the roof of the mouth, it goes up all around the uvula and into the nasopharynx cavity. And even then past that into the divot of the skull, which is beneath the pineal gland. Such a practice requires great care and generally is an initiatory practice. So I wouldn't recommend trying that in your next meditation session. But the point being is that it does depend on which practice you're doing. For yogasana, for when you are doing specific sequences of yogic posture, generally actually your tongue is moving because each sequence comes with a sequence of mantra as well. Like through the 12 asanas of sun salutations, each of the 12 postures also comes with a mantra. And so as you are stretching, making flexible your body, you're also stretching, making flexible your tongue, practicing Sanskrit as you're doing it. It becomes a whole breath work as well. If, however, one is still learning the mantra that comes with each asana, then in general, for tongue position, I would recommend whatever feels natural. For most people, that's releasing it from the roof of the mouth. Of course, it matters most how you are breathing while doing the asana. So whatever supports your breathing in the easiest way for you. That sounds difficult, says Arisha. Yes, Kechari Mudra takes a lot of practice to do. Really, actually, most people require a lot of what's called talabya kriya, the lengthening of the frenulum, in order to even be able to do such a thing. And other stretching of the tongue. Like, it's not something you could do right now. It's something that you'd have to work your body up to many months, probably a few years of practice. Max, you're wondering, where's the guest? In the bushes? Maybe this is a good time to bring out the guest, if they feel comfortable. They're hanging out nearby. Oh, Dansuela Priya. Would you like to come say hi? You can return to your seat in a moment. That's okay. Oh, please let me know if I'm interrupting. I appreciate you, dear Pursoon. Hello, welcome. Hello. Yeah. Some people who have been in the Sangha for a while may know that we have a Sanghi who goes by the name of Dansuela.
Hi, everybody.
And here she is. I actually have another microphone.
Oh, excellent.
It'll connect. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we are.
Use this. There we go.
So this is our special guest today.
Hi, everybody.
I feel very privileged to be here because you are staying here temporarily, and it is such a wonderful place. And I basically just showed up, said hi, and started live streaming here.
Right. Yeah, it's such an idyllic environment, and I'm so grateful to be here with you in this beautiful part of the world. It means the world to me to
Thank you
finally
for
meet
being
you.
here.
It's really great.
We've had a long journey in our community together,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to finally meet a Sanghi in person like yourself is such a milestone, I feel like. So today's a very special day. And I think it's very fitting, as I was saying at the beginning of the live stream, that today in the lunar calendar is dedicated to Durga. And I know that you resonate with her. So I feel like it was very much divine timing. And the divine feminine comes in many forms, like in Mother Nature, and my beautiful partner over there, and yourself included. So welcome and salutations to you.
Oh, salutations. I'm so honored to be here with you and G, and I don't know. I'm feeling
I'm putting you on the spot. Yeah, I know.
Well,
Yeah, that's okay.
It's wonderful. Like I'm just really taking in this moment. It's lovely. And
Yeah.
hello everybody. Oh my gosh, so many of you have helped me and along my journey as well. And
Patwamasi gives a bunch of smiley faces with heart
Aw.
emojis. Yeah. She's a beautiful soul.
Aw.
You look like Cher.
I get that a lot. Thank you. I love Cher. She's amazing.
And thank you, dear Cash Money, for the heart me that you've sent. Would you like to do the mantra?
Oh gosh, I'm too nervous.
That's okay. You could say Om Dum Durgaya Namaha.
Om Durgaye Namaha.
Perfect. Lovely. Yeah. G, Nate, did you want to say hi too? You're good?
Okay.
All right.
We're doing something back here.
So, here's our guest today, and you are welcome to be nearby. You can hang out if anything calls to your heart.
Okay.
Welcome. Actually, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
So, one of the reasons that we were on island time in getting here today is just before that we had a very impromptu intervention, a little bit of one with my sister, who is a wonderful being. I love her very much. And right now, her inspiration is bodybuilding. And
Oh, fantastic.
yeah, and it just dawned on me after we kind of had that conversation that we were going to see someone who, has experience relating to that. And my question would be, like, what is a way to ensure that one approaches such a thing with health in mind? Because it can be very much like a body image focused practice,
Absolutely.
but it's also a discipline. You're also building yourself up in other ways and being empowered to work on yourself. So what would you say to people that are trying to balance that?
Oh my goodness, that is quite the question. I think. Oh my
That's
gosh.
okay.
Me and technology.
Just want to make sure you're heard.
Okay. I think. Well, my motivation for bodybuilding began at a time when I think I was, like at the time I was coming off of numerous medications, and my mind and body were kind of going through almost a reset. And rather than, I guess, being reliant on, and mind you, I mean, anybody who needs medication, absolutely, like, do take your medication when you need it. But
Right.
For myself, I felt that I needed to begin an intentioned routine of sorts.
What was your routine before that like?
I think because my routine kind of was focused more around what the medications were doing for me. So I mean,
Right.
medications for nighttime to sleep, and then you take your medications in the morning to keep you going and everything in the morning. But as I tapered and I was completely off.
Yeah. And please let me know if any of this is
That's
something you want to stay private.
Oh,
I'm
no.
putting you on the spot for sure.
Still, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I needed to find ways in which to
You wanted to make your own
replace,
timeline.
yes, like sort
Yeah.
of like replace that that routine with another, and one that was, I guess, very intentioned and focused on, well, like my health. And another thing about that was I was approaching 40 years old, and I felt at the time that I was like, I've always liked to exercise, but I thought, I'm going to, why not? At 40 years old, why not? Let's try bodybuilding. I've never done this before. It's completely out of my wheelhouse, but I'm willing to learn. And so I ended up connecting with a coach out of the UK, and she was lovely. And from there, I started to think about what sorts of foods, like what sorts of things do I want to nourish my body with? What sorts of movement would I like to
So for
nourish
you,
my
it's very
body
a
with?
health-focused,
Absolutely.
exciting new chapter
Yeah.
of your life.
Yes, and which way, like, how do certain foods and certain movements and how does this make me feel? And just really, I guess, almost a somatic practice, honestly. Like, I think
Yeah.
that was kind of the focus, and has always been, and it still is still very much part of my life. It's the somatic aspect of bodybuilding for me.
It's very therapeutic
Yes.
to exercise.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it's not about it's not even about like getting on the stage or anything. Like, bodybuilding to me is kind of it's more of a way of life. Like, it's just
It's more of the process.
yes, and just the journey of it, and not being. I think that's one thing. If your sister's considering competing,
She is. Yeah.
okay, not being focused on the idea of placing or having a medal. That's really not the primary focus. What it was and still remains to be for myself is focusing on that journey, and every step that you take, like every time you work out, or every exercise that you do, is sitting with it and being like, how does that feel in my body? Did I do my best at that today? Yeah, I did. And your best can look different every day. Sometimes your 100% won't look the same as your 100% yesterday. Maybe
Right.
it's 60% of that 100%, but that's your 100% in that moment. So,
I like that.
and once you get to that point of getting on stage, regardless of how you place, even if you're last, you know that you have. You've done your absolute best, to the best of your ability in that moment, to be there. Like,
Right.
and a lot of the friendships that you'll make in bodybuilding are great. They're very, I've met some really amazing people, and that have they have varied reasons why they get on stage. So, like, this one woman that was competing along with me, like, her reason for beginning was she was on a journey through cancer treatments, and so having that routine every day, like that focus of
Yeah.
bodybuilding, just for her to be up there, like that was her.
That's powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was her reason to get up in the morning and to just have that moment in time to just. I think everybody needs that, like focusing on something just for you. I think everybody, should have something. It doesn't have to be bodybuilding, it could be anything. Like, just even taking a moment to just sit, in yourself and in your being, and enjoying a cup of tea or whatever it may look like, or drawing a picture, or I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's
Like,
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're helping me understand, like, what it must feel like for my sister to feel empowered to do this for herself. So
yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
excellent.
how do you feel for the people in the lives of people that are inspired to be a bodybuilder? It looks very much like it's very much like a a bit of a regiment to, because it takes a lot of work. It's a full-time thing. How should one support the people that are, they've decided in themselves, like, this is what I'm doing?
How to support? I guess maybe it's not so much. How can I describe this? Because like we're not. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, it's a very physically aesthetic sport, right?
Yeah.
But that is, you know what? That part is really just meant for the judges that are there, for just placing purpose. It doesn't really matter, and it really just depends on who shows up that day as to who they're comparing you against.
Right.
It's all just really just like arbitrary stuff. That stuff really doesn't really mean a heck of a lot in the grand scheme of things. But I guess to support somebody who is going through that journey, well, sometimes being fatigued, especially when you are when you're conditioning and getting ready for a show, you will find that there are times where you're very tired. And so
Yeah.
things that I really liked that my lovely partner did, when he saw that I was, sometimes I'd be really fatigued, is like offering to make me something nutritious, or even recognizing, hey, like, I see you worked really hard today. Like,
Yeah.
you're very tired. Like, maybe have a rest. Maybe recognizing these things, and it really goes a long way, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I'd love
I know it's
if
scary
your
to-
sister ever wanted to
yeah.
talk to me about it. I'd be more than
thank
open
you.
to
Thank you. I will let her know.
talk to her about it. That'd be really
I
really
appreciate
great.
that. I think that was a perfect opportunity to ask you this on here. So, thank you. How did that feel to?
That was fine. Are we still live? Are we
Of
still
course,
kicking it?
yeah.
No, that was great.
Okay, good.
No, I'm good.
Oh, good. Creature says thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yes, Rita says thank you, Dansuela.
Yes, thank you. Well, do you want to just go back to doing your thing?
I'm happy to continue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
That's
You are literally my guest, and I'm also literally your guest. So
Okay.
whatever you like.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
maybe I'll just.
You
I'll
can be
pop
nearby.
out just for a little bit.
Of course.
But
Of course.
I'll return.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Eileen, you're wondering, what is my bracelet? I've got a couple of them on at the moment. We've got taking you. Thank you. That was perfect. If that's something that you're open with.
That's totally fine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
On what platform?
TikTok or
On TikTok?
Instagram. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you want to type her username in chat, G? Okay. Yeah, my lovely partner will type it in chat for us all. Anyone who wants to explore these topics or meet the lovely Sanghi that is Tansuela Priya. Yeah, I've got a couple of bracelets on. These are of two kinds, really. We've got Rudraksha and we've got pure metal. So both kind of natural materials. I try to put materials that are natural in my body, and the significance of such is that Rudraksha is a symbol of meditation. It's a symbol of the yogic way of life. There's a beautiful ancient story that I'll tell you quickly. There was this great being who lived long ago, and for eons, it seemed, this great being was sustained through simply meditating on the top of this mountain. Who knows which mountain this is today? Maybe the mythological Mount Meru. It may be Mount Kailas. All that this being was doing was just sitting there, back straight, Even breath was still. The only sign of life, besides not being slumped over, was that tears were rolling off the cheek of this great being. And we say great, why? Because just sitting in the presence of this great being, you can tell that something profound was happening for them. It seemed like just by being near to the process of this meditation, and of course, this long ago, even our early ancestors were coming to understand spiritual practices in these ways. It was a big thing to be able to experience such stillness in oneself and be sustained by it. Tears would flood, and each tear that rolled off the cheek, it would get planted in the soil. And from the soil would sprout a sacred tree. So the story goes. And the tree today is known as the Rudraksha tree. And the word Rudraksha means Aksha, eye, Rudra, the name for this great being. Rudraksha means from the eyes of Rudra, namely the tears. So these are the seeds that come from the fruit of that tree. It's a reminder for us to persevere through yogic practices, to find such peace and fulfilling stillness within ourselves also, that we may radiate tears of joy also for this world. May this world be nourished by our love, by our practice. That's the Rudraksha. There's also pure metals on each arm. Pure metals have antimicrobial properties. We remember this human body is 50% animal cells, 50% cells of other kingdoms of life. So we have 50% of our duty to our animal cells, 50% of the duty to other kingdoms of life within this whole organism. The holobiont, it's called. Managing one's microbiome is one way in which we take care of this piece of earth. Pure metals assist with that. Such is why, if there was anything that used to be touched by many different people of different microbiomes, it would always be made in pure metal, like doorknobs, or cutlery, or utensils and cups and bowls and plates. It's a natural sterilization of the kinds of microbes that, when they're too numerous, can develop into imbalances in our microbiome. Thank you, Septimore. And thank you, Norwegian singer, for the rosa that you had sent. Ham jum sa Trambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityor mukshi jamamritat. Dear Raven, thank you for the heart you sent as well. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. Skylight, you ask a great point. What's the point of meditation if it isn't helping others? It sounds selfish. You bring an excellent point. Meditation on the surface sounds like we are withdrawing from the world, withdrawing from the people that need our help. And if that's all meditation was, then absolutely, that'd be a practice that we should question is helpful. Here's the thing, however. Is meditation just withdrawing from the world? Or are there other types of meditation that engage us with the world too? So one way to meditate is we go and sit down and we close our eyes and we listen to our breath and we understand our deeper self. That's important too for a different reason. That's only one half of the practice of meditation. That's called nivritti meditation. Meditation about going beyond the external forms of this world. Actually, there's a whole other complementary part of meditation that rarely gets discussed in the West because most meditation teachers are nivritti meditation teachers. Pravrti meditation, that's where we actually attend to the world in a meditative state. We draw forth from the same energy that we look into in nivritti meditation, and instead we direct it outward and into this world. We are meditating while living in this world. That is the essence of pravrti meditation. Can you make each movement of your body into a meditation? Can your whole day be like a flow state? The way you listen, the way you speak, the way you help, the way you put laundry away, the way you go to sleep at night. All of it is a meditation. And the nivritti meditation is important also because we can exhaust ourselves by always trying to attend to the problems of this world. The truth is, we also have our own problems. And before we can attend to the problems of this world, we have to address the things within us that are actually reflections of the problems in this world. Because every problem that us as humans have made for each other came from not addressing something inside us. So, in order to really make the world a place where we all want to live in and get along, we have to make sure that we are people that can get along ourselves. That rather than projecting our problems onto the people around us, that we take the time to listen and understand ourselves. And actually, it would be selfish otherwise. To really be selfless requires us to understand what the self is. The self is something beyond this body and mind. We can only find that through nivritti meditation. And once we realize that, then we go back into pravrti meditation. We bring that self, we understand that self, we see that self and everyone around us and everything, and then we serve and attend to that. It's this cyclical path of going in to understand what's inside you, coming out to reflect it everywhere you see. So both is important. Thank you, Classico, for the heart me that you had sent. Om Dum Durgaya Namah. Norwegian singer. Thank you for the pair of divine fingers, too. Om Hrim Naman Purnishwarya. Javon, you wish you could see me in person to help you through your breakup with your girl. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're going through a breakup right now, my friend. Those are tough. Absolutely. Remember, love is one. That love was there within you before the relationship. That love will continue to remain with you after the relationship. Each relationship is just a different expression of the same love. So you're not truly losing love. The change that love, the form that love comes in is what changes. And really, we all grow as people, we all evolve. Every relationship serves its purpose in our path of evolution. Of course, we all idealize in some capacity some kind of eternal romance where we find the one and we're with the one forever and that person works out perfectly for us. That's an ideal, that's a goal. Generally, relationships are many steps along the way towards such a goal. It's an infinite journey. You work through these things, and if we find that we need our own space to evolve, then we allow that process to happen independently for a while. And every step along that journey is necessary, including the steps that we may take to our own time. Like we were just talking about the nivritti and pravriti meditation. Being intimately involved with someone in a romantic relationship, that's very much a pravriti meditation. Being single for a while, understanding yourself, that's very much a nivritti meditation too. When we look at it in terms of these phases of our life, that balance is also healthy too. Someone who's decorated their username simply with a little Unicode flower, precious wounds. You had asked, would I say I take more interest in Ram Dass or Alan Watts' teachings? Well, they both are wonderful human beings that have shared exquisite teachings. I find that Ram Dass took his path very directly through the whole of his life because he went and found a traditional guru, Neem Karoli Baba. Rather than taking a purely scholarly approach, he took a path which is known as Guru Kripa, the path of the grace of the Guru. He immersed himself in that life all the way to the end until he transitioned to whatever's next for him. You can sense that great peace that emanates from Ram Dass. And this isn't a comparison because both are the same soul. That same soul can teach us through any person, even someone who's still experiencing a lot of challenges. Like Alan Watts still drank a lot of alcohol and smoked and went through a whole lot of relationships in his life, even while teaching spiritual things. Those spiritual things that he taught were genuine spiritual lessons too. I think that we can experience that from both people. And if you're someone who prefers a more scholarly approach and is at the place in their journey where they still want the liberty to be able to drink and smoke and explore themselves romantically in that freedom, then Alan Watts is very appealing in that way. And that's good because each teacher is therefore a different expression of a different part of someone's path. And they are meant to be there for that person at that time. It's difficult to listen to words from someone who's on a very different part of their spiritual journey than you are. We all need someone who reflects back to us something that seems accessible, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't listen to them. So early on, I loved listening to Alan Watts, and later on, I loved listening to Ram Dass. And for some people, maybe they take the opposite order in which these beings come to them. Thank you, Norwegian singer, for your roses. Om Kamalyar Mahakarlikaya Namah. Usha, thank you for your hand heart. Usha Shubhante Karoto. May the goddess of the rising sun bless you with happiness, good fortune. Madeline, you share your Wi-Fi's name Ramdas. I love that. That's good. Dasa means in Sanskrit servant. And Rama is the form of the divine. It's actually very similar to a certain sentiment in the Christian tradition. The idea of what does the divine look like in a very human form. That spirit of Rama, I think, appeals very much to someone who would be familiar with Christianity. You know, it's like if you're a human being and also come from the divine, we have Mother Earth as our mother, Father Heaven as our father. When those two come together as one, what does it look like to be humanly divine? I like that. So to be in service to that ideal, may you use your internet for connecting you with all the people of this world that get to hear your story to inspire them and to connect you with all the resources that can inspire you. It's a good Wi-Fi name. Hello, Haley Queen. Machu Picchu. Thank you for the heart me. Bhuvasva Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo yo nah prachodayat. Aline, you're wondering how many languages do I speak? I speak, well, I'm only fluent in English, and even then I feel like I have a difficult time speaking English. Is anyone fluent in English? I have a great appreciation for the languages of this world. I love learning Sanskrit, the language of these mantras. I love learning about Sanskrit's ancestor, Proto-Indo-European, from which also English comes too. I think it's so mind-blowing. I think we all kind of know that some languages evolved out of other languages. Like, we know that there's many words in English that are very ancient that come from older languages, like Latin. However, to really get it into your head that when we go back in time, languages become one is an incredibly mind-blowing concept. That is to say, rather than saying that Proto-Indo-European branched off through many ways to become English over here and Sanskrit over there, I think it's a little bit more accurate, at least in the sense of the energy that it brings into your being, when we say that actually English and Sanskrit were one language. They were one language. It is the same language. So is German, Icelandic. So is Russian, Greek, Latin. All of these languages were one. All these languages have spiritual traditions associated with them. Our ancestors were deeply spiritual. The spiritual culture of this Indo-European landscape was one. It's very beautiful. And that's just one landscape too. We can do the same thing for other language families like Egyptian, Arabic, Hebrew. All these languages were one too. Or Tibetan, Mandarin, Cantonese. These languages were one too. And of course, there's all the indigenous family trees of language too that have survived isolated. It's a fascinating world of language. Language connects us. Language is magical to convey meaning across vibrations through air. I love learning about these things. So while I wish I could say I was fluent in more than just English, I'm still learning how to speak English. Thank you for your finger heart, dear Fede. Shailaputriya Namaha. Thank you, Norwegian singer, for your rosa. Brahmacharya Namaha. Thank you, Chris. You remind me. My microphone is a clip-on lavalier microphone. It's true, and I actually have the magnet that I could put it here. Speak like this. I like to hold it in my hand. If it's too loud, remind me I can just speak quieter. I like the intimacy of the sound of the microphone being close. Hello, dear chat. You've changed your name. Emma, you share the agreement. English is so contextual. You feel like you're a native speaker and you're still trying to become fluent as it changes. That's the beauty of language. It's also such a challenge, especially when discussing really sincere topics, when we're discussing the nature of things that we're really sensitive to. We can use the same words, and yet how those words mean for you may mean something very different for the person who receives them. Other times, two people may share the same meaning for something and yet choose two completely different ways to express that. And I find that if we look at so many of the challenges in this world, particularly in the world of philosophical disagreements or religious disagreements, it boils down to using the same words to mean different things or having the same meaning and using different words. What I call this, you might call that, even if we're using the same language. And what I mean by this, you might mean something very different than that. This is something that dawned on me very, very deeply when I was questioning uh, being an atheist. See, when I was born, my parents were allowing me to be whatever I wanted. My mother was a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We celebrated Christmas. We even celebrated Hanukkah. We had Buddha statues around the house. And my father was nothing. So I got a little bit of everything from my mother. I got nothing from my father. That put me in a position where I could be anything I wanted or nothing at all. If I wanted to pray, go to church, they allowed me to do that. If I wanted to stay away from all that, they allowed me to do that. So I'm very privileged to have been in a childhood where I got the freedom to explore without any biases towards or away from anything. And I chose myself a very skeptical path. Because my first impression in the world was very much that it seems like religion causes more harm than good. Because if you take a history class, do I need to say more than that? How many lives have been saved in the name of religion versus how many lives have been taken in the name of religion? You know? Historically speaking, there's very much an answer to that question. And I was very inspired to be a scientifically minded person because I love to understand the world through logical means. So it seemed like the logical answer, very much to me, was there's no higher power. The universe is very mysterious. It's a cosmic mishap. Quantum mechanics tells us that at the quantum level, we can't even predict what happens next. So who says that the universe has any inherent order to it? So I very much went down the path of disagreeing with the concept of religion. I hated the concept of God. I hated the idea of people believing in something that they had no proof for. And then it all changed. And how can I convey that? Well, studying in my room, in my dormitory at university, a great change happened in the way I understood the world. A very beautiful change, because I went from being a very angry person to being a very mystified person, much like a baby. I felt like I could look at the world with fresh eyes again, and everything felt so wonderful again. Thank you, Rita, for your fruit friends. You're sweet. Om Ham Hanumate Rudratatmakaya Hum Bhat Swaha. See, if we really zoom out with our skepticism to the point where we can question absolutely everything, even the ability to question itself, it all breaks down. Even the reservations we have for the world. If you really look at what it means to be an atheist or a theist or a Buddhist or a Christian or a Hindu or whatever, you'll see that it's really the same thing. Because an atheist says that the universe comes from nothing. Nothing created the universe. It didn't need a creator. The theist says the universe came from God. Well, then nothing and God sound like the same thing. You're saying they both came from nothing, or they both are what everything comes from. Is it either nothing or is it God? Well, who says those are different things? Who says God had to be a thing? Doesn't the word nothing apply to God? We like to imagine nothing as though it's absent, as the lack of something. Well, yeah, it's an open space. And an open space is infinite. Now it's starting to sound a lot like God. If that which is beyond the universe is beyond the concept of things, well, then of course there'll never be any proof for God. The proof is existence. It just depends on how you define it. I like when Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven is within you. Because within you, there's a whole lot of nothingness too. Nothingness is the open space of awareness. And in the Lord's Prayer, when we say, Our Father who art in heaven, well, if we've learned that heaven is inside us, and if the Lord is in that heaven, then the Lord is inside us. Hallowed be thy name. How can one name that which is the deepest core of one's being? Names refer to everything outside. Thy kingdom come. Come from where? If it's inside us, comes from someplace deep within us. Thy will be done. Whose will? The being that is deep inside us. On earth, what's around us, just as it is in heaven, inside us. When the Buddhists say that there is a great peace beyond the world of cycles of suffering, that place can only be attained through meditation, nirvana, Such a place is found within. I understand the Buddhists are talking about the same place. Nirvana is that place within you, beyond the world. We point up and say heaven is there, but really, we are looking from up, down into this world. Down is in front, up is inside. The world came from above. The world comes from within. The Taoists say, the name that cannot be named, only that is the eternal name. Hallowed be thy name. That nothingness, which cannot be put into form. The Jews, they speak of Tzimtzum, the great space before creation. That space is your inner consciousness. All religions are one in this way. The great sages, they may come in different names. They may come expressing different ways, but it all leads us back to one place. So, while the scientific method can help us understand what's happening outside, and spiritual method helps us understand what's happening inside, really it's just one process. Being that is the subject, existence that is the object, and the experience of subject, object, one form expressing itself from within to without, specializing itself in different ways. Whatever path we take in this world, we are only doing so based on what is meant to be expressed from the inside to add to this beautiful world. Wherever we see a challenge in this world, wherever we see something that we don't like, one of two things is true. Either because we have imbibed someone else's dislike of us and we have yet to heal from that, or because that is our purpose in life. Our mission is to make the world a better place, to make it more likable for you and me and for everyone around. All right. These are the power of words. Different traditions use different words to mean the same thing. And different traditions use the same words and respectively mean different things. Good night. You ask a very important question. Is there a way to avoid Orientalism in our spiritual practice? That is such an important question because if we are raised and brought up in the West, of course, we have the feeling that the grass is greener on the other side. And the same is true for people that grow up in the East. They see the potential prospects of financial and religious freedom in the West, although they have yet to come over and see, is it really that financially free? Is it really that religiously free? It works both ways. Whatever side you are in the world, if we have difficulty facing what's inside us, then we feel like the other side of the world is going to be better. I think we do have to get out. We do have to explore the world. We do have to experience what that's like because travel is so important for a human being. We are meant to be wanderers. We are also meant to have stability. At least we have stability in ourselves so that wherever we go, wherever we have the freedom to go, we feel stable within ourselves. We bring that home with us. We have great reverence to the East. Why? Not because there is anything more special about any particular part of the world. Different places of the world have naturally developed preserving certain aspects of their past. Really, what's appreciable on the spiritual path of the East is just the abundance of spiritual tradition that has been preserved. Just as much spiritual tradition has taken place everywhere in the world. It's just in those places, it's harder to find what's been preserved unless you're directly connected to the same thing that our ancestors was connected with. And without a society that supports that from our birth, we do have to go out in search of those lineages that have retained that, and then we can reconnect back into the direct source and bring that wherever we go. You can do that with indigenous practice. Really, it is indigenous practice that is the spiritual lineage. Thankfully, through some miracle or just a quirk of geography, India, the land of Bharat, has somehow preserved a great portion of indigenous practices. I'm talking about the people from South India, the people who have preserved the practice of yoga and Siddha and all the forms of expression and the interaction with the people that have crossed through there, the Vedas and Ayurveda and the Sanatana Dharma in general. If we look for indigenous people all around the world, indigenous people in the Americas, indigenous people in Oceania, indigenous people in the north, they also are connected to really deep ancestral practices. And they are not defined by the dichotomy of East versus West, too. It's the ability to understand and connect with this world at a much deeper level than surface. And we can only do that if we cultivate a certain kind of respect for the life that this is and the life that's around that. And that happens naturally if given enough space and time to do so. And that's what happens if a certain community is able to flourish in a certain place for a while. And that happens very much so in indigenous communities, because being indigenous means you've had the freedom for this land to be connected with by you and the spirit of your people. It is those lineages that we need to connect to, not particularly in any part of the world, as long as a connection to spirit in that way through some people. We need to learn from them for the cultures that have lost that or need to reignite that same lineage within their ancestry. And that's why it's so important to study other cultures, because all humanity is one. We share a common ancestor, we share common cultures. Today, the cultures that seem so distinct, many of those cultures came from a common population. We might have different languages today, we might have different traditions today. We might have lost some of the traditions that our ancestors practiced, but a different culture might have retained them. So we go and learn from them and bring that back into our culture. Thank you. Good night. Thank you, Chris, for your rose and your awesome. And the finger. Tatpurushaya vidmahe mahadevaya dhimahi tanno rudra prachodaya. How can we return to the land? It is a beautiful question. We must learn from the land, at least begin to familiarize yourself with the place you live. What did this land look like before colonization? What plants are native here? Learn the medicinal properties of the plants around you. What people are native to the place you live? What wisdom traditions are still alive for them? What resources do you have access to? Are there community meetings? Will you be the one to create the first community meeting? What can you grow in your backyard? Do you have a backyard? What voluntary effort can you join to help attend to the wildlife around you? Hi. I've been very attentive to the live stream. Your conversations are private to me. How are you all doing? How are you all doing? Go ahead. Go ahead. And thank you, Wild Scott, for your heartbeat. Mitraya Namah. Thank you, Crystal. Yes, I'm having a very blessed day thus far. Thank you for asking. Or thank you for sharing your hope. I hope that your day is going well too. Oh, what an interesting creature in my hand. What are you? You a dragonfly, a very tiny dragonfly baby? Or oh, just fell off. I think they live in water. But you ask, what's Namastal? This is a Sanskrit word. I have yet to learn it myself. Namaste, if that's what you're asking. Aylin asks, what does namaste mean? It's a very beautiful term. Allow me to tell you. Namaste is two words, actually. Namah and te. Namah comes from the root nam, which means to bow. It refers to a bend in something. Like, for example, if you see a river bend, then that's a namah. If you see the way that a bow bends, that's a namaha. When you bend forth to greet someone, why are we bending like a tree? Why are we bending like a river? Why are we bending? What's the deal here, right? Is it because we're laying ourselves forth to be vulnerable for this person to do whatever they wish with us? It's an acknowledgement. When we bend, that means we are adapting to the flow of life that is before us. A river bends to adapt to the way the current is flowing through the natural geography. In that sense, if we imagine the spirit behind that river, the river is very adaptable. Rather than the river just plowing through everything it goes through, the river follows the lay of the land. Same with the way trees grow. They grow around other things. They bend to accommodate so that they still have their own space while respecting the space of the things around them. That's the real ancient tradition behind why we bow before someone. We do so because, just like we're flowing like a river, my life will accommodate your life. That is why the bend of a river is called namaha. And that is why the same word is in namaste. You might ask, why is it namaha alone, but namas in namaste? And that's because that final sound in namaha actually adapts to the next sound that follows, which is very on theme with the meaning of the word. When that ending sound, namaha, comes before a voiceless dental sound, then it becomes a voiceless dental sound, specifically a sibilant, namaste. And the word te means to you. So namaste means I am adapting to the flow of life for you. May there be a kind of bending in my energies of my day for you. Namaste. It's honoring the life that you are while honoring the life that I am. That we are both life. Let's honor that. How can we become adaptable for each other in this moment? How can we grow, flow together? Namaste. You'll find that root in a lot of words of greetings. Namaskara. Kara means action. So namaskara means I'm taking the action of bowing for you. Or, it comes with the hand pose as well. Namastasyai. Salutations of his or hers. It's a beautiful third person salutations. Namastasyai. Even when someone's not around, we can still adapt to them, knowing what part of our life they play for us. Namastasyai. Namostute. There is salutations for you. This is a fact. Namo namaha. That's actually just the same word twice. Salutation, salutation. Thank you for providing me with such a wonderful question, dear Alin. Thank you, Crystal, for the shard of hope that you had sent. Brahm Bhairvaya Namo Namaha. Tattvamasi. You liked a comparison of the riverbanks to Buddhi, the holder of the reins of the horses. I like that. Well, it's two analogies in one, or metaphors. Yeah, Buddhi is the intellect. The mind is the flowing water, or the turbulence of that water. The riverbanks are what guide it. Yeah. And connecting that to what we were talking about before, how a river follows the lays of the land, then our buddhi should also adapt to our environment too. We should let the current situation of life inspire our guidance. We carefully ask the question before we proceed in any situation, what is needed from us in this moment? That is the buddhi guiding the mind's activity. Ellen, I'm sorry that you're going through so much in life right now. I hope you always remember that the universe does not test us. At least not in the sense that you're going to fail. Even an animal that dies has not failed. Her body simply returns to earth and new life springs up again. Is that life in any way different than the same life that that animal was? Yes, it's different in the form, not different in the energy. Sometimes it feels like we're either gonna break it or make it. Actually, sometimes making it requires breaking down. Now, I'm not saying in any way you are going to spring up in the form of a different species anytime soon. I wish you to be in this life. May you and I know each other for 100 years. This is an ancient blessing. May you and I know each other for 100 years, right? I'm saying that sometimes when things get shitty, that's the compost for new life. I think it's very sad that when something isn't going our way or we don't believe in something, we call it bullshit. Hey, do you know where we'd all be without bullshit? How many crops that go into our bodies are grown through the process of manure? Bullshit or manure is the compost of life. So I try to remember that too. That everything around us, even if it seems like not something we want to experience right now, beautiful things may grow out of it. Hello. This is a beautiful sentiment, dear creature. May I become food. Or actually, I just realized, I thought you said, may I become a fool. May I become a fool for the trees and creepy crawlers, is what I thought you said. Now I realize it says food. That's funny. I was interpreting that as, you know, may I look at all the trees and the creepy crawlers as something that can always teach me a lesson. Yeah, all of life is here to be a form of nourishment in some way. Right now, I'd like to keep my body, at least allow me to offer the actions of my body as some form of nourishment also. If I cannot offer my arm and leg as nourishment for someone, at least may I offer nourishing words. At least may I offer nourishing space. There's a beautiful name for the goddess in Sanskrit. You might ask, which goddess? I said, the goddess. There's only one. You see her expressed in many different ways. In the sun, in the moon, in the earth, in the trees, in the creepy crawlers. It's all the goddess, right? She is the creation herself. There's a beautiful name for the goddess. It's Annapurneshwari, or for short, Annapurna. Ishwari means lady. Purna means fulfillment. And Anna means nourishment. It comes from the root an meaning to nourish. Anna is that which nourishes, nourishment, food. So one of the names for the goddess, one of the names for this whole world is Annapurna, the fulfillment of nourishment, or the fullness of food. May we become full. May we feel nourished by life itself. And may we offer nourishment. May we provide food for others too. Big and beautiful spiritual practice is just this, feeding people. That's what Neem Karoli Baba would always say. Anytime anyone tried to ask for some advanced spiritual practice, Westerners come over to India, they want to find some tantrika yogi who can teach them the secrets of Kundalini Shakti and opening the chakras, getting the hidden Vayu pranas to flow, unlocking the great darshana of Paramatma, cosmos, fireworks, infinite beings. They want that huge enlightenment. Neem Karoli Baba would say, all right, you want to know the most powerful spiritual practice ever. Everyone be like, uh-huh. You want to open all the chakras. Uh-huh. You want to open the secret chakras, even past the 7. Oh, yeah. You want to have your Kundalini Shakti flow. Definitely. Okay. Feed people. Help people. Serve people. Love people. That's boring. No. It's the most powerful, advanced spiritual practice there is. There's nothing higher than those. Seriously. Don't believe me? Try. Don't believe me? Look at the people who are successful in those forms. Look at the people who have spent their life feeding people, helping people, loving people. They are the most wonderful beings. And does anyone ever stop to ask them about how they think about the world? Because if you do, you will be blown away by the insight and connection they have about everything. That is why a true mother who knows what it's like to love, to feed, to help, because many mothers are naturally going to do these things. A mother has a universe of wisdom inside her, for she is an embodiment of Annapurneshwari. We try to go to the East to seek out all these dudes who have renounced the world behind them and to understand the spiritual lessons of life. Who do you think is feeding them? Especially in the East. It's all these mothers, right? Sure, you can throw away all your belongings and become a monk. Who's going to feed you? When you go begging for food, who is it that put the food into your body? Your begging bowl will be filled by the love of some mother, probably. It's going to be 9 times out of 10. So that's where all their wisdom comes from. Without that, why are we going to all these gurus in the middle of nowhere when you have a mother probably right next door, if not within your own home? Just in the way she took care of you, just in the way she takes care of those around you. All the spiritual traditions are held in her. She doesn't even have to know any fancy words. She doesn't even have to know any scriptures. She doesn't even have to say a word. Just in the way that she knows you're hungry, she'll feed you. The highest spiritual lesson is there. Om Hrim Naman Purneshwari. And yeah, as Grace shares, you're a mother and you've actually stopped feeding everyone apart from your birth son. You're too burnt out. This world needs to see the grace that mothers have done for her. Her, the greater mother, Mother Earth, in all of her forms. And now is the time that mothers are realizing how much they've given and how they need to pull back to wait for people to get the message. And that's her next lesson for us, right? Sometimes the most powerful thing we can say is nothing at all. And a lot of times, a mother's worth is proven in her withdrawal for all the things we take for granted. Name any successful person that's ever been. They certainly had some woman in their life helping them. For all the people that have worked tireless days towards their goal, who was feeding them if they had no time? Probably their mother or some mother, or someone with very motherly tendencies. So, really, it is the mother that we have to thank for all the success in this world. Big and small, she's been behind it, and she takes no credit. That is her greatness, her humility. I think she deserves a little more. If there's anything that would make me feel proud in this life, it's to show the world the same love that my mother has shown me. And I will probably spend the rest of my life learning how to do that. And it's such a small goal, which reminds us how big motherly love can be. You know, Mother Mary's love was so powerful, she birthed God by herself. So if a mother can birth God by herself, right? My goodness. You know, we see where his power came from. Everyone around us, including ourselves, either is a mother or came from one. So this is a mother's world. Ooh, you ask a good question. So is everyone born God? Yes, but we grow out of it. When I look at a baby, I go, wow. You know, baby looks at you, you can see the whole universe in that baby's eyes. Here is God in the form of a baby. When that baby gets a little older, okay, starting to lose some of the divinity. When you're a teenager, it's almost all gone. As an adult, okay, we fully descended. Getting back into that babyhood, difficult business. How can we look at the world the same way we did as a baby? That's hard. We have all these preconceptions about it now. That's another thing that makes the mother so special. She never lost it. That's why, if she wants to tap into babyhood, she can make a new one. And where did that baby come from? It's from her, right? It's an expression of her being. Can I do that in this male body? So, we want to say that gender is an equal thing. I can't produce God by being an emanation of Mother Earth like that. That's a whole nother level. I can assist in a very small way because she lets me. That's her greatness. See, it's not that women are better than us. It's that she plays a different game than us, where she has the energies of Mother Goddess to create life. And we have the honor of being her support in that process. There is an equal responsibility for life. One is more direct, other is more indirect. A woman is the truth. A man has the honor of being reminded of the truth. That's a beautiful honor. That's a privilege to learn from her in that way. To see God from the outside. A woman's journey is about embodiment, about absolutely believing in herself to be the badass that she is. Yeah. To really experiencing the fullness of her magical being. And that's a difficult journey, especially in our current society. A woman does not rise into her power. She's already there. She only realizes that it's always been there. But men have to work up to that level. And we're framing this in a very binary way. It's a whole spectrum of being, baby. Even a mother who has no uterus is still a mother. Because you can tell by the way she effortlessly brings life into this world through her energy. When she is properly taken care of, life in some way is born around her. Whether that's other animals, a garden, or even some kind of creative project, you can see God in the work she does. That's a woman. And you can tell a man is a man by the way it requires more effort. The challenge of a woman is not whether she can or can't. She can. It's whether she does. It's whether she has the support to realize these things. The challenge of a man is a question of whether he can or can't. Can he? That's the question. Can he rise to meet her where she's at? That's his journey. A very powerful one. Very beautiful one. And all forms of human beings are equally able to find their happiness and the same level and depth of happiness and love for this world. Because beyond body, beyond mind, there is just a great love that we all come from. We focus so much on what's on the outside. Truly, it's significant what's on the outside. Bodies are significant arrangements of creation. We should honor that. And that's what that discussion was for. Yet, beyond all that, it was never about putting another being on a pedestal. It's about rising to meet them where they're at, not sinking to a level beneath them. That may we take inspiration for those around us, simply out of love for the whole that we're all a part of, that love unites us all. We may be a woman in this life. We may be a man in this life. That's just this life. There's nothing inherently male or female about the soul. We get to experience the whole spectrum of expression, from masculine to feminine. The soul itself is just made up of pure love. You can find in it all genders. Our life is more than physical. Yet we must honor the physical. And I don't mean to challenge anyone. I'm not here to tell anyone that they're doing anything wrong. I speak passionately on things I love. And if I can convey my love for something, that makes me happy. What is it that you love? That's what you're here for. Where do you find your love, yourself, being expressed? These are all perspectives. Each one has their place. Each one has a time to let go of, too. Stepping stones along the way. That's the beauty of this. We can speak very passionately on one thing, and yet also acknowledge that that passion has a context in which it's relevant. And there are other contexts in which other perspectives are more relevant. That's why we can go from looking at things from one way and seeing the truth there, and looking at things from another way and seeing the same truth there. Just we took a different route to get there. So, no shame on any path. If it takes you to the truth, it takes you to the truth. Who says there has to be one way to get there? Thank you, Alchemist. Prem Samarpan. Thank you for your roses. Chandraghantaya Namaha. We are all energies. And at the energetic level, we're all equal. How we get to use our energies is our freedom. In the very fact that the universe is receptive to what you do, that there are causes and there are effects, means that there is a creative process that you are a part of. So, the universe waits for you. If you pick up a stone, it will move for you. If you pick up a paintbrush, so too shall it. If you push someone out of the way, they also will move. And if you pick them back up again, they will rise. You have this freedom because you are the universe. Otherwise, that rock wouldn't move for you, nor would the paintbrush or the person that you've pushed or picked them back up again. We are sensitive to each other because we are each other. All the atoms of creation have the liberty to react to each other because they're part of the same thing. Otherwise, the whole universe would just be static, unmoving. That is the art. That is the dynamism of the whole process. The fact that you can inhale this air and it allows you to do that. The earth gives you liberty to take this atmosphere and hold it inside you. Is a gift, is a blessing. The fact that we can take a seed and plant it, water it, and watch it grow. If you know what I mean, that's proof that you are that seed. You are the growth. You are watching yourself. It would be beautiful, dear creature, if these things were imbibed from an early age. And yet, also, I feel like really we already know these things from an early age. Unfortunately, there are adults that kind of stamp it out of us until we are molded by the society, until we fit into it. We have to lose a lot of ourselves in the process to be accepted. Actually, a great deal can be learned from children just listening to what they have. We give them the language to do so. They will teach us. Actually, if a child is ill behaved, it's usually a reflection of the energy of that space. This is true for all sensitive beings. If you're neurodivergent, if you realize you're neurodivergent, if you have an animal in your home, if you're wondering why certain people are behaving in a certain way, what is inside you that they are receptive to? Because this is the truth of our spiritual abilities. Just notice, like in my household, we have 2 cats, Sandy and Shadow. Whenever there is tension in the household, they fight each other. Whenever there is peace in the household, they cuddle each other. So, how is it that they behave in one way when I and my family are feeling one way, and they behave in another way when myself and everyone else is feeling another way? If we weren't also connected to each other in that way. What we do is we cut ourselves off from these sensitivities. We think that it's wrong to have depression or anxiety or to needing to be always stimming, or that we have to self-isolate, or that weird for feeling like food is too hot or needs to be separated like this, or people looked at us in a funny way. Really, children are the universal symbol of an enlightened being. They only are such a perfect mirror to the world around them that we see things in them that need to be changed only because it's things in ourselves that need to be changed. And I think there's a beautiful teaching that's well known in Japan. I wish I knew the Japanese. And it goes like this, that if ever you see someone doing something that you don't like and you want them to change, go away. Change that within yourself so you don't do that anymore. And the next time you'll see them, they won't be doing it either. Beautiful. Thank you. Hello. for meeting the caretakers of this beautiful physical space that we're in. It's such a blessing to be here.
Well, I was staring at your friend's orange. I had to type that rather than staring. Sometimes it's better. But anyhow,
Rastaman. It's been years. What am I inhaling nowadays? The fresh air of this beautiful West Coast atmosphere. Oh, how intoxicating is just a nice breath of fresh air. The aroma of the flowers, the breeze that the ocean carries across. Yeah, I've had a lot of growth in the last 2 years. I wish the same for you, my friend. Yeah, the way I have my camera right now, it looks like I'm kind of in the forest, and I am. We're actually at an Airbnb right now, and I can kind of pan around. I can flip my camera. It's all been cultivated in a way that's in harmony with the earth. There's all sorts of naturalistic art around, flowers. There's a cabin over there. Flip the camera again. I wish I could show you more. Master Mix Promos, you ask, what's sacred about India? You know, that's a good question. And we were talking about that earlier. Maybe we can really dive deep into what I meant by what I said earlier. So let's start off by acknowledging how different the world is today from even 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. A lot has changed, and that's true for every part of the world, including India. And as with any place in the world, you can find what's sacred, and you can also find what maybe used to be sacred, or still has a long way to go to embodying the sacredness in which it was originally intended. We can see how we need to develop more sacredness in the spaces in the West, sacredness in the way we handle our exchanges here. And that's true for many systems that are in India also, like the caste system and discrimination against women, and the list goes on. How many things have been affected since the British Raj and the invasions from the northwest? That's a whole box of frogs. When you look at all of those things that are needing to be addressed today, it's hard to see the sacredness in those aspects for sure. Absolutely. What we're talking about is the things that have been preserved since ancient times. There's a spirit of tradition that flows through any place given enough time of living there. And the people that live in such a place for such a long time we call as indigenous. The people of India, particularly in the south, have lived there a very long time, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of years. In fact, some people at the south tip of India and Sri Lanka have been there upwards of 30, 40,000 years. You might say, well, that's true for many indigenous populations around the world. And that's true, except one of the biggest differences with India is that they're one of the few places that actually partially nationalized their indigenousness. So many countries are founded from people who came in later and made it their own, whereas a huge portion of the population of India has, at least in terms of the last tens of thousands of years, always been there. And there was a great oral tradition across the whole subcontinent that preserved a lot of these ancestral ways. And that's not special because of the people that are there. It's special just because we have a connection to the past there. And anywhere that preserves such a connection to the past, we get to experience something very deep, very ancient that's been an evolving human thought for thousands and thousands of years. Places that have been so heavily disrupted, it's a lot more difficult to find that sacred root and connecting to the land, connecting to this world. As the ancient traditions of any indigenous population will go, they say that they learned all these things from the trees, from the rivers, from the sun. Verily, indeed, if one reads the Vedas, the most ancient of all scriptures in India, the Vedas themselves speak of the truths being revealed by the sun, Vivaswat, revealing it to Agni, fire, and fire ceremoniously teaching us humans, the first humans, Manu, in turn. They teach about the river goddess Saraswati, sharing her songs of the soul. They teach about the sky itself, Djaushpitar, and Mother Earth, Prithvi Matar, that they are the originators of sacred knowledge. It was quite a choice to wear white pants today and sit on the dirt. I'm just rubbing it in now. You know, I like to tell myself that if I come home and my pants aren't dirty, having chosen white clothing, then did I really live that day? Anyway, we can find the same thing told in all the indigenous traditions of the world. The commonality behind all of them is this great connection to the land. I mean, that's why they've lived there happily for thousands and thousands of years. Otherwise, they'd go elsewhere. So there's a kind of stillness inherent in their practices because they've remained still as a people group in these lands for so long, too. And so that's what's sacred about India, not because it's India, but because that's one of the places in this world, and it just so happens to be at one of the larger scales where a whole subcontinent we can look at many different parts that have survived and persisted, where we find this ancient stillness of being so in tune with their land. And we can find that all over the world. It's just that other places of the world have experienced a lot of change in different ways. And depending on how that change happened, a lot of that history and culture can be temporarily erased. And I say temporarily because the land is still there. If we trust these beings and their connection to their land, we believe them as they say, that the land is the teacher, all that knowledge will come back. We just need great beings to connect again, or to become great, or they already are great, to realize the greatness in their beingness and shared connection to the land. So it's a temporary thing, I think, that we have temporarily had these traditions erased. They will come back. And one of the ways we come back is by going to those places, either physically or nowadays through the magic of the internet. What a blessing it is to be able to look up a spiritual scripture that used to be an oral tradition on the other side of the world and have it at your fingertips. That is a great power we all have today. Assuming you are watching this on a device connected to the internet, you have this too, right? It just might take a little bit more time to access that, the deeper meaning, especially if it's in another language. Anyway, I hope that answers the question. Checking in with you, lovely people. How are you all doing? Good? Oh, good. Mm-hmm. Oh, I am happy. Yeah, just wanted to check in. Good. Yeah, wow, have I really been almost live for 2.5 hours? When we were coming here, what time did you think was appropriate, G? You're flexible. Mhm. All right, we'll feel it out. Sometime in the near future, we'll end with a meditation. I'm glad I'm remembering to hydrate today. Today, I don't know how hot it is for all of you people, wherever you are. It's pretty warm today. Fortunately, the clouds have given us some shade at the moment. I was telling my group chat, all night Yamathon. Yeah, we should do one of those again. Although I'll have to take a different approach now that I care about feeding my body. It's hot as heck for you, Deo. Yeah. 90 for you, dear creature. Yeah. If that was Celsius, I'd be dead. I was telling the group chat today, and everyone's welcome to join if you want to. It's a really nice space, I think, for people to explore these topics that we discuss here further with each other. I want you all to have a more equal space to do these things because I know it's difficult to express oneself so succinctly in a TikTok comment. And that's linked to my website if anyone wants to join there. The Telegram group chat. I was telling, I was sharing today something that I learned from my lovely partner, and then I started hearing it again and again. And it happens a lot where my beloved partner will tell me something, and then I might be in resistance to it initially, and then the universe always proves her right. That really, whenever we're drinking something, it should always be warm, even on a hot day. If we want to cool ourselves down, we should cool the body externally, but internally, we should always keep the body warm. Nowadays, we're putting ice in everything. If you go to a restaurant, the presumed beverage of choice is something with ice. They bring out nice cold water. And actually, that slows down our immune system. It slows down our metabolism. The core of our being is where in Ayurveda it's said to be Agni, the divine manifestation of fire, our digestive enzymes and metabolic processes. It requires that heat. So even on hot days, I recommend cooling yourself down externally, like submerging yourself halfway in cool water or applying cold water to the crown of the head, or even it can be another liquid. Castor oil is a very traditional remedy for hot days. Apply a little bit on the crown. I say that because I know today is a day where many people are going to be drinking beverages to cool themselves down. These are some of the ancient food knowledge that we have lost in our society. We forget there's a big link between the temperature of the food that we eat and the spices, whether it's a cooling food or a heating food, and how that affects our metabolic processes. Today's a day to eat cooling foods, but not necessarily cold foods. Cooling foods are like cucumber. Cooling foods are like melons, fruit. Cooling spices are like cardamom, nutmeg. Cooling herbs are like cilantro, fennel. These are things that can technically be at a higher temperature, closer to body temperature, yet they have a cooling effect on our body. Yet they keep our digestive process ignited. That's especially important for people who are healing. If I remember the story correctly, that when my partner first learned about this, she was in a period of her life where she was really focusing on learning about her body and healing. And there was a traditional, yeah, a medicine person of some sort. You're a big ant. Are you a queen? That approached her and noticed that this person was very much in tune with my partner in that moment, sitting on this bench, and she was drinking water, and by the condensation or whatever, he could tell that it was cold water, and he was in tune with the fact that she was in a healing period of her life, and he taught her that one should always, especially if they're healing, make sure that they're drinking warm liquids. And I've noticed that too for myself. In the last, I want to say 4 months, I really started doing that. My body has definitely changed in a way that I can tell these traditional practices, these ancient knowledge sources, there's a reason that they were preserved for thousands of years. And you can see how much health we can take back into our life, how much vitality, how much strength, how much feeling of ease and wellness can return to us. I feel that very much directly. Before, I even remember saying on my earlier live streams that, yeah, life is such that there's always going to be like some sort of pain. You wake up and you're sore here, or you feel stiff in this way, or you got a headache, or you have brain fog. There's always something in the day, right? Well, now that I've had days where I've felt so well in my body for the whole of the 24 hours, everything flows together so fluidly. No headache, no stiffness, no cramps, no whatever. Just a genuinely like body that feels happy and well maintained. I go, wow, okay, I was wrong. You can make your body feel good, and you can have a clear mind again, and you can feel in such a way that like you were as a child. Hello, my friend. I wonder what this ant would say to that. Ant's like, you got any food? Speaking of food, speaking of wellness, what you gonna feed me? And I wish the same for all of you too. Raven, you ask a good question. What are some changes I've made to help with my health? So in addition to making sure that whenever I consume anything, that it's warm, one of the things relating to that is when I'm drinking, I always drink in between meals. It's another thing that once you learn it, you can't unsee how normalized it is in our society. Nowadays, when you have a meal, most people always pair their meal with some kind of drink. Or at a restaurant, they put the drink next to you. Actually, we should be very sparing with any sort of beverage that goes along with our meal. That really, we should only drink at most 30 minutes before the meal and up to 1 hour after each meal. The meal itself, no liquid. Unless what you're drinking is really dry or what you're eating is really dry. In which case, is it really food? Food should always be moist. Food should always be about the same quantity of water as is our cells. It should be made up of cells. It should be made up of 70-80% water. So the times that we drink, if we're eating food that's already matching our percentage of body weight by water, should be very little. they say we should get like 8 glasses of water in a day. Only if you're eating like really dry food. Like, what are you eating? You could easily get that much water by like very moisture retaining food, like making sure we were getting soups and vegetables and fruit and boiled things, when you're steaming your food, boiling your food, that sort of thing. This is the way that humans have eaten for thousands of years. Yet, if we are in a position where we do need to drink and have a meal at the same time, because there are times where we have to do that. If we know we're dehydrated and yet we also need to eat, then, or if we need to activate our digestive process too, because sometimes our metabolism is really slow in the morning and we can't just immediately put food in. We have to activate it in some way first. Then we have warm water, hot water, with spices. Add spice to the water. This is a crazy concept to myself before I learned this. Spicy water? What is this? Tea? Actually, no, not tea, because drinking tea with your meal, the tannins and the other, but essentially the tannins of the tea, they bind to the nutrients of your food and keep you from absorbing them. So if ever you have tea, whether it's black tea, whether it's green tea, that can bind to minerals. It can bind to the nutrients that you require. Like many people know today, if you drink matcha, that threatens your iron absorption. But matcha is really good for you. It's just an example of one of those things where you should drink beverages in between meals so it doesn't interfere with your digestion. It also waters down your stomach acid, because you need to have a high pH in your stomach in order to dissolve your food. So if you add a little bit of lemon juice or apple cider vinegar to your water, then that's okay. You can sip on that when we're eating. That's had a huge and profound effect on my eating, my metabolism in a positive way. Food passes through me a lot easier, I can tell you that for sure. Also, really, we should always be having water with some form of electrolytes to balance it. Because hydration isn't just water, it's being able to retain that water too. So, ensuring that we're getting enough sodium, ensuring that we're getting enough potassium. The potassium to sodium ratio should be high. We should be getting more potassium, because what potassium does is it allows water to actually be retained inside the cells. There's all these gates that are on our cells that require electrolytes in order to fire. And through osmosis, we need to make sure that there's a balance of water inside our cells and outside of our cells. And so the gates that are helping the molecules transfer across our cells, making sure that they're firing, we need to make sure that we have the electrolytes to do so. So potassium helps get water inside of our cells. Sodium helps get water outside of our cells, in between our cells, like in our bloodstream. And magnesium helps balance the two. So the big three, if we're having water, then make sure either in our food or in the water itself, we are supplementing with sodium, potassium, magnesium at the right ratios too. We want to get a lot of magnesium, potassium, and make sure we're getting enough sodium too. Many of us already get enough sodium in our diet too. I know this. I like that, Rasmir. This ant is making a plan to carry me to her nest. She's like, see, if I just get the leverage right, maybe if I lift over here, I can lift 100 times my body weight. This guy can't be that heavy, right? I could probably do it. If I just get a couple people here. All right, you're probably wondering, how do you get down? Let me put you back on the ground. You're like, where's the ground? Why am I floating? I feel like you're eating my dead skin cells. You don't want to come down? Are you down? Where'd you go? Okay, you're on the ground now. Okay, thank you, Aunt. She's gonna carry me home and show the queen. My queen! Look! I have brought a feast for the whole colony! I'm going to go down in history. The greatest aunt ever. Yeah, pink Himalayan salt is great for a whole bunch of minerals and electrolytes. Yeah. Also, just a small note about potassium, because I'm on the subject. What's the first food that most people think of when they think of potassium? If I said, make sure you get your potassium, what are you eating? Banana, right? Banana doesn't have much potassium. This blew my mind because for a while there I tracked all the nutrients in my food because I was curious. I'm like, oh, if I wanted to get an ideal amount of potassium for my day, you know how many bananas I'd have to eat? I'd have to eat the whole bunch and then some. Are we going to eat 10 bananas every day to get adequate potassium levels? I'm like, who is there propagating this idea that bananas are super high in potassium? Yeah. So what actually has high potassium? Nobody said it. Sweet potato. Sweet potato, a lot more potassium. One of the best vegetables that you can eat. Sweet potato. Oh, so good. So good for you. Yeah. Avocado. Avocado's got wonderful amounts of potassium in it as well. Coconut. Coconut's great for potassium too, even coconut water. If ever you have a headache, and you can tell just by your own connection to your body, it's something to do with your hydration. Yet just drinking water isn't working. Maybe even having added salt, sodium chloride to your water, still headache is there. Try having some potassium or even leg cramps. Most people in the West are deficient in potassium, or at least don't have the ratios right between potassium and sodium. Because sometimes it's true that we can get enough of one nutrient, but its benefits are impeded by the fact that we're getting too much of another. Raven, you share. You will ingest raw elemental sodium, magnesium, and potassium. I think you will explode. Have you ever seen the demonstrations of throwing pure elemental sodium or potassium into water? It spontaneously combusts. Yeah. I want you in one piece. That's the purpose of sharing these things. Yeah. Coconut water is one of the most hydrating drinks. It's true. Be mindful of the fact that it is really full of sugar. And even though it's a natural source of sugar, it is still sugar. And it can spike your insulin levels. And that's because it's been separated through a natural process from the shell of the coconut. Sugar is at its best when it's still bound with the fiber of the plant that it came from. Like when we juice fruit and we think we're being really healthy, but actually we're cleaning all the fiber out of the juicer and we're composting it. It was the fiber that bound the sugar in with the juice that made it healthy, that made it a healthy source of sugar. Same way that if we just drink the coconut water and leave the rest of the coconut behind, then all of those free sugars do all sorts of things to our body. Spike our insulin levels, put our body in a state of survival mode, enable lipogenesis. Body starts storing fat more than it needs to. and we get the rise and fall of our emotions relative to them. So, even coconut water, I think we need to moderate ourselves with that. Or if we're having coconut water, make sure we're having the coconut fiber in some other part of our diet too. That's in the shredded coconut, for example. Thank you, dear Fede, for your nonet of glow sticks that you had sent. Kushmandaya namaha. Anyway, speaking of sweet drinks, thank you all for your sweetness in this live stream thus far. I'm really grateful for you. So we've been talking about electrolytes. We've been talking about simple health practices to take care of our body. Why do we do these things? We do these things because we love our body. We want to have a good relationship with our body. Generally, we only feel like we don't like our body because other people don't like their bodies. And they project that on us, and it makes us feel like we don't like our bodies because we're empathetic beings. We receive and are receptive to the feelings of others, especially if those people are important to us in some way, they're part of our community. Then, of course, what they're feeling, what they're going through, naturally we're going to feel too, especially if subconsciously, unconsciously, they're pushing that out on everyone around them. So, deep down, beyond what other people are making us feel, we all love our bodies. We all want to have good health and happiness. Many spiritual practices, they might emphasize the aspect that we are not our bodies, we are not our minds, but really, we still have a great deal of care to do for these bodies and minds. See, when these great spiritual teachers talk about we are not our body, we are not our mind, what they're trying to say is you are the one taking care of this being. This body is like its own being. Think of it like the most vulnerable and beautiful and trusting being that literally trusts you so much that it has given you freedom over so much of it. And yet, it still retains its own autonomy, right? You don't choose when to beat the heart. It does. You don't choose when to digest the food. It does. You don't choose what proteins to encode from your DNA. It does. Depending on how you take care of it, it will take care of these things for you. So it is its own being that has given you some amount of authority over it. That's so trusting. What an honor that is, right? This is a gift from Mother. This is a gift from Mother Earth in general. So the goddess is the temple. The temple is the goddess. That is the body. She gives herself to you in that way. Wow. What are we doing? We better be taking care of her. What an experience of life she can offer us if we do take care of her. Right? Yeah, we need to listen to our bodies. The body is the goddess, and the goddess is a being that she lets you take care of. Because she is still whole and complete even without our care. Without our care, she dissolves into the wholeness of back into Mother Earth. She's still fine as she is. She is giving us the chance to live and work through her form. That is a miracle. Whenever we're feeling unwell, especially like the imagery of throwing up, or when things are really going out the other end, that's the goddess saying, hey, temple's closed. I'm not accepting your offerings. You aren't listening to me, then why should I receive the things that you're putting into me? And when you feel like your body can move fully, when you really feel like you can be yourself in your body, when you can dance, when you can play, when you can sing, when you're flexible, when everything feels lubricated and at ease, then that's the goddess rejoicing through you. Then the temple is throwing a festival. She's saying, I like what you're putting in. Here, let's make sure what comes out is wonderful also. That's why we care about these things, because it's a spiritual dance that we play, that we make with her. That's the beauty of the path of the divine feminine. It always is and always has been body focused, not pleasure focused, not focused on attaining something that others can't, but about seeing how this is a temple. And if it's your temple, how are you going to manage it so that the divine comes and stays in your temple? If a temple is where someone goes to connect with the divine, then how are you managing it? That's what I love about every day, because then we don't need to look further than the spiritual path that's already been decided by the body. The body really is this ancient being. It is a sacred art to learn how to take care of it in harmony with the environment. It is a fully comprehensive spiritual path. There's actually a name for it in Sanskrit. In fact, in various schools of, is it Kashmir Shaivism in India? It's one of the traditional Shaiva schools. They have this list of paths. And the very last one is person-focused spirituality. It is the creme de la creme of divine feminine spirituality, where you look at this vessel as a complete manifestation of the divine, but not you in terms of your ego, in terms of your fears and desires and personal limitations. You separate your identity from the body in such a way that you realize how humbling it is to live inside it. And then you look at this body, you look at this world as paradise on earth, as a heaven, as the Garden of Eden, and you ask, how do I deserve to live here? How do I become a caretaker of it so that I really feel allowed in my presence to stay here? And that's very powerful. It's very powerful. Because the truth is, when we build this temple up in a way, in a way that makes the being inside that we are happy, then our energies naturally turn to serve the world around. Because it doesn't stop at the body. It only stops at the body if we have something that we need to focus on in the body, like disease or illness, that requires our immediate attention. But a truly healthy and happy person automatically looks for what they can do to help the people around them. Because once this is taken care of, your soul is a caretaker. It wants to be of service. It wants to have some purpose to attend to. Of course, it's going to go out and find the places that it needs to attend to. So we're talking about the purpose of this life as being in service to this gift that is our own body, and how it becomes a gift to the world if we take care of it in a way that Mother Earth is banking on. So we give her a positive ROI. How do we give Mother Earth her return on investment? We give back to the world more than she's given back into our being. And a very simple proof that our soul is meant to be a caretaker for this world is the fact that you and I, we can so easily point out problems in the world. See, if we weren't meant to be caretakers of this world, then how is it that we see the places that can be improved? Because that's what a problem is. It's a place that could do better, a place that could be better, a place that needs something more than what it currently has. How are we so easily able to judge people, to judge the world, and see how much harm is being caused? Because we know that it could be such a better place than it is now. How is it that we know and can recognize when someone is being unkind? It's in the word unkind because we know that they could be kind. So kindness could be there. So love could be there. So healing could be there. So happiness could be there. So harmony could be there. The fact that we're challenged by the world is proof that we know what could be there instead. And why are we blessed with that knowledge? It's a blessing to see the good. To see the bad actually is to see the good. If you can point out what's wrong, it's because you know something else that could be right. So you are blessed with seeing the truth, of being able to know what's right. That's why it appears as wrong. That's why our soul is a natural caretaker. It's meant to have this knowledge. It's meant to look at the world and compare it to the reality that may be instead. And that reality that may be instead, that is the kingdom of heaven. It is hiding underneath the surface. It is within us, and that's why we shine forth and see it so. That is why, as we said before in the Lord's Prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That is what it means. To instill the Garden of Eden, because that divinity inside blesses us with the knowledge of looking from a place of inner wholeness, from a place in which this whole world appears to us, in that divine light of consciousness. We contrast and compare that divine light to the empty space for our actions to make a difference. That is our purpose. Everyone's meant to find that in a different way. Everyone has a unique perspective that this world is meant to benefit from. We just have to refine it and take care of ourselves in a way that it becomes expressed healthily. And that's a great task we undertake ourselves. Dear Mystic Spirit Dice, thank you for the hand heart you had sent. Skandamatre Namah. Carolyn, thank you for the trio of roses that you had sent, Joan. Kalauratriyai Namah. And J Street, thank you for the heart me. Katyayanyai Namah. And the little crown you sent, thank you. Someone's making a joke. Is this an Apple Watch? Actually, no. This is a watch I programmed myself. It's an open source watch, meaning that at the hardware and software level, it's public domain. All the specifications are free. You can build it yourself, and you have full control over the operating system and all of the code that's run onto it. So no data is sent between the device and any corporation. Whatever you want this thing to do, you can program it to do that for you. I love open source hardware and software. That's the way the world should be. Rather than devices built by corporations to, collect data and profit off of it, It's a device potentially built by you to do whatever you want with it. And you can change it however you want without breaking any warranty or having to pay some crazy fee to make repairs on it. You can source the repairs yourself and do it yourself. I love it. It's called the, not sponsored in any way, just because it was brought up, the Bangle JS2. So what I've done with it, it's actually turned off right now. I'll hold the button to reboot. What I've done with it is I've coded a data set of all the motions of the planets and stars so that anytime I can look and quickly see on my watch where the position and phase of the moon is, or Mars, or Jupiter, or the sun. So I get an indication not of the local time, whatever that may be, but the actual solar system time that's naturally encoded into the cosmos that we live in. So, and here's the thing with open source software. Sometimes it misbehaves. The good thing is I can reprogram it if there's any error. I think I've opened the recovery menu accidentally. Just do a reboot, I think. Yeah. Anyway, in theory, I can just look at my wrist and go, okay. So right now, Mars is directly above me. What do I want to do with that information? What does Mars mean to me? What is the symbolism of Mars? I actually had a dream about Mars last night. I could see its red shining light in the sky. It's very beautiful. We tend to go by a general rhythm of the sun and maybe even the moon if you're sensitive to that. What if you also paid attention to the rhythm of Mars or the other planets? How lovely would it be to choose to live one's life in accordance to the timing of the universe? What does it mean for you when the sun rises? Well, what does it mean for you when the moon rises? What does it mean for you if Mars rose? So I think having a watch that could tell me these things was something that made me feel like I could, on demand, connect with some aspect of the universe right now, greater than just this earth. Because generally, so much of life is focused on what's happening just on earth. There's a whole universe up there. It's fun to know what's going on and live in accordance with such. Thank you, dear Mystic Spirit Dies, for your 51 roses. Mahagaurya Namaha. Okay, let's see. Did it boot? There we go. Okay. I would just need to change the time. Hopefully you can see this. Ah, it's very dim. Now, if only my camera would focus. Anyway, at least I can describe it to you, in case anyone wants to take inspiration. I'm happy to give the source code for free to this as well. Essentially, what we have is a dial, and that horizon, the horizontal line, is the east and west axis. And so something like a dot way up here would tell me that that planet, like the sun, is at its zenith point in the sky. And if it were over there, that means it's setting. If it's over here, that means it's rising. And if it's at the bottom of the dial, I've got these rings of orbits of all the different celestial bodies in our solar system. When it's down there, then it tells us that it's on the other side of the Earth right now, for example. And I could set it to give a little vibration whenever the moon rose, or the moon was at its highest point, or the moon was full at that moment. The world's your oyster. I love when we bridge ancient wisdom with modern technology, because that really is the privilege that we have today, especially through technology, is we have access to so many different perspectives around this world. We might as well make use of them. Technology has its limitations, it also has its strengths. And one of the strengths is being able to connect here with all of you, for example. What a privilege that I have, knowing that at a moment's notice, we can share this sacred space here just from the portal of my phone. I love that ability. I love the ability to use our intellect to develop technologies that can benefit one another and that we can use to benefit in our own path, our own practice. Being able to have access to such knowledge, it is mind blowing. If we could convey that idea to someone 1,000 years ago, hey, even 100 years ago, they would think we're living in the future, probably because we are relative to them. Except a real tangible idea of a future with futuristic technology and the possibility to use it for futuristic and Unitarian ideals. Because we absolutely have the potential to use it to come together, to bridge the gaps that for so long have been beyond cultural barriers. Now we have a chance to really look inside another person's perspective because they've shared it so vulnerably online. Now we have access to so many books, so many forms of media, so many videos of what it's like to be in another part of the world. We have access to all sorts of historical literature that can bring us back into time and archaeological research. To be able to explore that so freely, we have at our fingertips the ability to connect universally with so many different cultures and traditions across the world and across time. To take advantage of that, I think, is more than a gift. I think it's necessary in this age. Because maybe then we can look into the beauty of another culture, another tradition, into our past, and see the shared humanity that we all have. Because it all is one shared humanity. Ultimately, you are a human being. I am a human being. That means we are both beings experiencing humanness in one body and another. We're both figuring it out together. We both have that shared vulnerability. We're both as equally confused and mystified by this world, at least in the context of this life. How mysterious it is to suddenly be born into a human form and have all these things explained to us. This is your mother, this is your father. Humanity has existed for thousands of years. This is the civilization that you live in. Here's how it changed. Here's what you have to do. Here's how to eat and poop and sleep and walk and everything. You go, okay, that's what's happening. Yeah, and then this story happened here, and now this country does this, and now, oh my goodness, be careful, you have to walk around that now, and okay, all right. Oh yeah, and by the way, the universe is like this, and there's black holes there, and we live in a solar system, and this civilization rose and fell there, and yeah, pizza is a very important culinary art that comes from Italy, and you're like, okay, this is a lot, this is a lot of stuff happening. yeah, and technology and phones and connected to the internet and war and suffering and make sure that you go to bed on time tonight. You're like, okay, this is the human experience. Make sure you get 10,000 steps a day. And by the way, you can pick a musical instrument. You're like, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. I got to keep track of. And it's like this, we all kind of pretend that we know what's going on. But even if you're 100 years old, you're still like, all right, this is new to me. So the only way to make sense of any of it is to listen to each other, to really hold space for what's going on in another person's life. All of our individual lives are so overwhelming, yet understanding how they all form a complete whole is very rewarding. To know that this form of life is ancient, to really connect with the antiquity of this world, we go, I can relax because now I know I don't have to figure it all out just by knowing that we've all been just trying to figure it out together. We still have no idea what we're doing. I mean, the very concept of the scientific method is only a few hundred years old. Our species has been around hundreds of thousands of years. The very fact that we can use technology to connect to each other like this is a new thing. For billions of years, we never had this capacity in any form of life. Of course, the modern age is a new and scary and overwhelming place. It's so emotional to be human. The world is very emotional. And that's okay. Because fortunately, many beings have come and gone. And they've stayed with us in a certain way. There are truths that seem to have lasted through the changing sands of time. And it comes in different forms in different ages. In one way and another, we're all directed inwards. Rather than getting caught up in the craziness of the outside world, no matter what's going on in that eon, that cycle of civilization, wherever we find ourselves in, there's a lot of stillness within. There's a lot of homeliness, familiarity within. It might seem unfamiliar to really go inside oneself, especially if we've piled up at the doorway a bunch of belongings that have been very forcefully added to our life through our short time in this body, through this personality, through this mind right now. But if we can just make our way past that doorway and experience something a lot deeper that feels like it's always been there. I'm talking about something that you knew was there before you got this body. Sounds crazy to the body and mind, completely normal to the soul. We find ourselves relaxed. When we can dissolve our attention into something a lot older than the new and changing world, we feel free from the distractions it brings. And if we rest into that deeper self that goes by no name, yet all names point to, that cannot be burnt by any flame, yet is the brightest of them all, that cannot be submerged in any ocean, yet is the deepest ocean of them all, that cannot be blown by the fiercest storm, yet is the fastest wind of them all, that cannot be pierced by the sharpest scalpel, yet is the most sharpened tool of all. That living consciousness within you holds a lot of peace that we can learn from, that we can realize is something that our whole mind and body is contained in, that we can derive love from to offer to this world that it so effortlessly contains. There is an inward journey and there is an outward journey. And boy, oh boy, is it a journey. I don't know if any of this is making sense. Some people will get this. Some people already know this. Some people, that's okay. Thank you for your fruit friends, dear mystic spirit dies. Siddhidaturiyai namaha. Nightwitch Tarot, thank you for your rose. Navadurgaya namaha. Hello, Isabel. Hello, everyone. Okay, I think it's a good time to end with a little meditation. I'd love to invite you to this final portion of this live stream where, in this shared space, let's bring our intentions towards just deep, deep love and appreciation for what's good in this world. Let's wish for some more of that. And let's remember that to reflect on what's good in this world is how we give energy to those things. Either through some mystical dimension, if you believe in that sort of terminology, or in the simple practice of letting those good things impress upon you to then, at some point after the meditation, go forth and realize in your own time, in your own actions. Either way you look at it is a good practice. Let's reflect on the things that are positive. We hold space for all of the world and give our love to the things that are getting better, to the things that are improving, to the things that are healing. Let's believe in that. Let us hold space in that. Otherwise, I wish you well. After this meditation, who knows what will happen in this life, in our life, where you will be in the day's journey for you, where I will be too. I know that I'll upload this live stream to my Yamsogs. I said it. That's my old username. Yamshakta. YAMSHAKTA YouTube channel. Yamshakta Lives. And I invite you to the Telegram group chat. That's also linked on my website, shakta.ca. And also on my website, there's a whole new lunar calendar section. You'll see it. That's where I dedicate myself to different days in terms of my energy that I give to our community. So today you'll see, for example, it's Navami, the 9th day of the lunar calendar and the waxing fortnight. On all Navamis, for example, I do a live stream. So that's how you could have predicted me going live today. And then the next live stream will be soon. Actually, according to the lunar calendar, I'll have 3 live stream days in a row because we have this very special lunar arrangement. It's very lovely living according to the lunar calendar lately. What's nice about the lunar calendar is that it's different. It's different every lunar month. So what exactly I'll be doing, I have to look to the moon and the moon tells me. Moon says, this month you'll be doing 3 live streams in a row according to what you've set for yourself. Okay, that's cool. So check out those dates if you want to know when we'll be live streaming next. I invite you to do a little live stream meditation with me now. Who wants to be in the background for the meditation? I feel like without talking, your presence is just gonna add something wonderful to it.
We still have presentation after meditation.
Pardon? Oh, right. Okay, there's a presentation after the meditation too. Stick around for that from our special guest. Here, I can turn the camera slightly so we have more of the background. Oh! It's like background dancers, background meditators.
I'm a much better background meditator than I am a dancer. This is a wise choice you made.
Where did the lovely? Oh, she's just there. Are you coming, G? Are you coming? No, you want to? Okay, I respect that. All right. Good enough with me. And for those who are new, this is Donsuela Priya.
Hi, everybody.
She's been a long-term Sanghi, or gatherer, in our Sangha, our gathering. And this is the first time that we've ever met a Sanghi in person, which is lovely. We got a lovely gathering here today with Donsuela Priya and her lovely partner off camera, and my lovely partner off camera. So I'm very blessed to be here in such a space. I think it's very fitting that we do a mantra for Durga today, since that's the divine association with our lunar day today, Navami. I think actually we happen to be in the portion of the lunar calendar where the first 9 days were dedicated to the different forms of Durga, the Navaratri. So tonight would be the 9th night of the goddess, depending on time zone, plus or minus a day. Very fitting overall. Durga, as we've spoken of, represents the Divine Mother in her fierce form, and not fierce, scary, fierce, courageous, fierce, showing up for herself, showing up for her loved ones, in persevering through the challenges, not to overcome others, but to help others overcome themselves. So the mantra, the bija mantra traditionally ascribed to Durga is very simple. Om Dum Durgaya Namaha. It's got 2 bijas and 2 words. Om Dum. We all know Om and Dum. It's like the first syllable of her name, but with a at the end of it. Om Dum Durgaya Namaha. Durgaya means to Durga. Namaha. We talked about that in the beginning of the live. It means we bow. Observance of prostrations. Why? Because we recognize the divine. It looks like I'm throwing up 2 peace signs. I'm Nixon. Oh, now we got 4. All right. We'll do it 108 times, and I have the perfect mala for this, actually. This is a mala very adjacent to Durga, another fierce form of the divine feminine. Skulls, representing all the people she's helped overcome themselves, let go of their big head, their big ego in the process, you know? Divine Mother, she doesn't cut off your head. She helps you get a new one.
It's true.
Yeah, you can actually use this one.
It's,
Oh, you've got one. Oh,
yeah.
my lovely partner has already thought
She
for
gave
me.
one.
Then I'm giving this one to you.
Oh no, you have one.
I have one exactly. You're the one wearing the skulls.
Oh right, okay.
You're my Kali. I'll use the Rudraksha then. So as I've said, the intention for this meditation is very simple. Just to hold space for all the things that are going well in this world. All the things to be grateful for, to continue to go well. Let us give our love to those places. And in connection to Durga, let's remember that sometimes that requires us to have fierce courage. It really is a courageous thing to be optimistic. Some people call it naivety, but true optimism stares in the face of fear and says, I know things will get better. So let us do so. I'm holding that in front of your face.
That's fine.
Om Dum Durgaya Namah. 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 Om Dum Durgaye 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 Namah. Om Durgaye Namah. Om Dum 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 Durgaye Durgaya Namah. Aum Dum 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 Durgaya Namah. Last one. Aum Dum Durgaya Namah. Oh. Let's just sit for just a moment to let that energy still. Okay. Thank you, my lovely Sangha, for participating in this live meditation. Thank you, Donsuela Priya, for being in the background. It's fun, empowering our meditation.
Thank you. And thanks to everyone. Oh my gosh, all the Sanghis. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
To be here on the opposite end of of these lives and
See if this
take
is
part.
connected. Yeah, I was trying to imagine what it must be like for a Sanghi, because obviously I'm always on this side of the camera. It must be pretty surreal to
Very.
meet someone online and then come to see them in person after so long being on the other side of the camera. So
Yeah.
I imagine that it's a very exciting and also very scary thing.
I don't know. It's not scary.
Really?
No.
Oh,
this
good.
actually feels quite natural.
Really?
I feel like.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. I was worried that it might be scary for you.
No, I don't know.
happy.
I think because I've watched you for many years at this point, and just even connected with many people in the chat. Like
Yeah.
this all, it just feels like meeting with an old friend, because it is.
Oh,
and meeting with them, they're all old friends at this point too.
That's true.
Yeah. So.
Because that's how I feel as well.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Oh, we sent that. Thank you, Mystic, for the flowers.
Oh, do they?
What's that?
Oh, that's very lovely. Much like Liam, I wash my hair. I get it trimmed sometimes, irregularly. Oh, that's so sweet. People are just lovely. You're all just lovely.
Much love to everyone.
Yeah, it's at Donsuela Garcia on TikTok.
Donsuela Garcia.
Yes. And you'll find me at Donsuela at Instagram as well if you're so inclined. But I'm not sure how I'm gonna. Well,
So I think I know what this is.
so I have a gift to give you. I'm not sure how to present it. I guess at this point, it's just so elating to actually be able to give this to you.
This is incredible to be able to see this in person.
Yes.
Yeah. I knew the process. This was, how long ago did you make this?
Oh my gosh. Maybe 2023, I want to say. Maybe?
I feel like it was later than that. I feel like 2024.
Yeah, maybe that's correct,
Yeah,
because
okay.
I remember Chapman was alive at the time, and he would that's my dog who had passed last year, but he would hang out with me in the kitchen while I painted. Are you able to it might be a little snug on there. You might have to really.
This is the challenge.
There's plenty of rocks available too.
Oh, I have to be gentle with such a. Oh, here it is. Okay, I want to be very careful. Make sure there's no dirt on my hands.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is. It's coming out now.
There you go.
There we go. Okay.
Yes.
So this is an art piece that you worked on while you were watching the live streams, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is either humbling or the opposite of humbling. It depends, I have to be very humble while receiving this because I've never had anyone do this for me. Yeah.
These live streams and these sanghas have just given me so much peace and ability to look at the world in a very different perspective prior to having seen you.
Thank you. I want to show this, but thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Thank you for being my friend.
It's such an honor to be portrayed by such divine hands. This is a portrait of me. This is the first time anyone has ever done such a thing for me. This is a still from a live stream from a few years ago. And we can see the tapestry that I used to have. I remember you saying as you were painting the galaxy of stars that each star was like a Sanghi.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And as I painted, when people would speak with me on my live, or no, actually, no, this wasn't during my live. I kept the Sanghis in mind when I painted the stars, and each one was a Sanghi.
Oh,
yeah,
it's so beautiful.
So everybody contributed to it.
I love that you felt everyone comes through in this. This really is. It's a very interesting feeling to receive something of your own likeness back to you. So it's very grounding for me to know that this was made in the spirit of the whole community, not just me. And at the top here it says the mantra that was like my personal mantra that I chanted relentlessly at that time.
Yeah.
Radhe, Radhe. Which is, of course, to the form of the Divine Mother in her most beautiful and all-loving and bliss-giving aspect, Radha, the divine partner of Krishna. I would always love to chant this. Radhe, Radhe. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyama, Radhe Shyama, Shyama Shyama, Radhe Radhe. Thank you. So lovely. I am honored. I'm so honored to have you as part of this community. Oh, we gotta put this in here, right?
Or you can get
make sure
you
that
can
I take
get
care of
lovely
this.
dirt and soil on it all you might.
Well, you know, it's dirt from a very, well, what is now a sacred place to my
Absolutely.
heart. Well, it's always been a sacred place. Mother Nature is inherently sacred. Sacred moment in time for me in this milestone live stream, being here with you and your partner and my partner. I feel so blessed to share this moment. I want to make sure that this is all properly.
Yeah, it may
rolled
not
up.
fit in there so well. I had to really finagle it into that thing.
Well, you know,
But-
I will try to fit it in here when I have more attention to give exactly to my hands. Thank you, everyone, for joining this live stream. I actually have a token of appreciation back to you too.
Oh,
And I wish it had the same amount of energy and dedication put into it as your lovely artwork. A tree did put as much dedication into this, although it's just a little Rudraksha seed.
I
Because
love it.
I love Rudraksha. If you're in my life, I think you'll have to fall in love with Rudraksha because I'm always giving it to people.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm so honored to receive this. Thank you so much.
Of course, it's a simple thing.
It's lovely. It's beautiful, but it's not simple. That's so complex. Think of all the attention and care that the tree went through to create this.
That's true. And this one is special because if you look at most Rudraksha, you'll see that it has 5 lines.
Yes.
And very rarely a seed will have more or less than 5 lines. And they all have different meaning. And this one has 6 lines.
It does.
And in the Shaiva tradition, 6 lines represents the child. Because the child of Shiva and Shakti famously had 6 heads. This is actually brother to Ganesha, not the elephant-headed one.
Yes.
The other one, Kartikeya, has 6 heads. And so it's a connection to motherhood. It's a connection to our inner child. And I wanted to give that one to you.
Oh, you're going to make me cry. Oh, that's beautiful.
And you can do whatever you like with it. Of course, it's yours.
Oh. It's funny because like I recently had a mala that had fallen apart and it was rosewood beads, and so now I can add this.
I love that.
And oh, thank you so much.
Of course.
Oh, that's lovely.
Thank you for receiving it. And I think that's a perfect place to end. This live stream, as I said, will be uploaded to my Yam Shakta Lives YouTube channel in case you want to see the recording of it. And whatever part of your day this is, I wish you a wonderful rest of it. May you have a beautiful present moment in your evening, afternoon, morning, or night. Happy Navami. Happy Day of the Goddess. Hello, my beloved. Thank you for popping in. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityor Ma Mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from what has yet to be real to the real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from what has yet to be eternal to eternity. Om, may there be peace in us. May there be peace in our environment. And may there be peace in the forces that act on us. Om.
Much love to everyone.
Much love.